Alrighty, so we are back, and today I want to talk about the LR tier list, something that we need to update for the part two of the sort of October corroded body and mind celebration, if you will. Big updates here, a few different EZAs. The game hasn't shifted too much from the end of the Transcendent Dokkan campaign, but we do have the introduction of a few new LRs to the list, so we are going to be updating this today. So what I've done here is taken all of the sort of, at least at the very least, like half relevant LRs in the game right now, ones that are not just like completely unusable in like anywhere, and we've put them here in this list. So we're going to be individually talking about them, giving you guys sort of a frame of reference for if you're a newer player, what LRs you should be focusing on. Maybe you have the SSR on your box, you don't know which ones to be doing first, or if you are a veteran or endgame player, you are just trying to look and see if you agree with the placements or not, right? Which characters are good, which ones do you agree with, which ones do you not? So as always with these tier lists, this is just my opinion. I am more than open to discussing and saying that I'm wrong about a placement if I do end up getting it wrong, and also keep in mind specifically with the tier list format we are doing here, this is going to be saying or heavily establishing that this is not going to be individual rankings of 1 to 10 per se. It is just going to be placed into the tier. So if you are Z tier, that means I think you are into that 1 to 10 range. And if you want to put them anywhere, that is completely fine. So with all those intros and stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this list. So the first character that we have to talk about today is going to be Super 17. And he definitely has had a bit of a resurgence with his recent Super EZA. I actually ended up thinking they did a pretty good job with this character overall, but it's going to be tough for me to put him. I think S is probably the most like reasonable place I could do that. Maybe it's recency bias with this character, but I do think that the Super EZA I think was pretty well done, right? Can be on the Omega Shenron team, which is going to be a huge plus, right? Being added to the Omega Shenron team is going to be like a major thing for a lot of these characters in terms of where they could potentially be placed. With this character being here in the S tier, I think that is probably a fair place, again, because of the Omega Shenron team. The unbelievable amount of support that you can get with that specific setup, I think, is just really going to make almost any character that you could put here in specific on this list is going to be looking pretty good in that spot. So I think that Super 17, that's a pretty fair placement. Just again, I think that he could be better. But again, the Super EZA did fix a lot of the like specific issues where, you know, if we look at the pre-EZA version of this character, there was a bunch of different things that were a bit frustrating about them. But if we look here, right, where, so like, let's just say we go to the pre-EZA version, right? It was basically just all based on target Goku and androids. But what the EZA did was they added GT bosses attacking in the same turn. So on a pure GT bosses team, you're going to be able to get these specific buffs. Then with an androids or target Goku category ally here, this again is where things do get a little bit tricky because this is going to be a bit more important. Target Goku is essentially saying on the Omega Shenron team that you are going to have to do a very specific setup, right? Where you're going to be looking for a character like this Broly or Golden Frieza and Gogeta, right? Or LR Golden Frieza in terms of like the characters that you are looking for to run them on the same team. Maybe Super Baby if you have them, but I'm sure a lot of players did not summon for this character. But again, we are just kind of talking about how the character is designed. It's not from you person to person in terms of the characters that they have, but I do think that this Super 17 EZA was pretty good. Again, I think it could be better, but S is probably where I'd put them. Again, if you want to move them down to A, I think that's fine. But this, it doesn't feel like a character that I'm running all the time, like absolute must run. Yeah, we'll keep them in S because they're newer, and but if they're not very good, like I could see like in the next list, if I were to do this, I could see myself putting them down here at A, and not being like, oh my god, like that's just like what was I thinking, right? I think that could definitely be the case, but. Speaking of an A tier character, I think that this is going to be an example of that. This is the ultimate hit or miss character. Damage-wise, not really doing that much in the modern day, but defensively, they have a utility that is more valuable than a lot of characters on this list, and that is the ability to get guaranteed dodge. The reason they are not up here because of that is just due to the fact that they are orb dependent, right? You have to get the 7 orbs or it's up to chance, and otherwise they are not really doing anything for you aside from support. So the support keeps them from being like in the C tier, but I think the Broly trio at this point, like, they're okay, right? Like, I'd say they're pretty good, but again, that coin flip is very scary if you end up losing it. So that's really as much as I can say. The unique forms of support that I like, the matter of choice in the game is always nice, because this game does feel like a lot of the time they don't give you a choice in a lot of the matters that happen. And in this case here, this is one of the few characters that actually does give you a lot of control over like the way that you are formatting your support, right? I think that that is at least important to note. I'm a big fan of this character, but again, I do think that there are some frustrating elements to them with the fact that they cannot, have their dodge. Like if dodge is disabled, this character is useless, right? There's a very few characters in this game that are like dodge dependent that can get around dodge disabling, right? Like this is a prime example. You guys obviously know where like this unit's going, and then tech UI right here as well. Like that's an example of a character. It's like the same thing where they have that domain. So that is something to keep in mind. Next up, Future Gohan. Future Gohan can actually look pretty good on the Future Saga team, right? He actually looks, I thought he was pretty impressive on the Blue Boy setup. Like he wasn't horrible. But again, he is old at this point. That's probably as far as I can put them. Again, I think they're like decent, nothing crazy. I just don't think that they are like, doing anything to move the needle in terms of like, being up here on the level of a character like Omega Shenron, like the level of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. It's just, I don't think that the synergy is really there in terms of like what they're doing for their team. To say they're bad, no, I think that's definitely not the case, right? If they're on this list, that means they're good. That's like one thing to keep in mind, right? Like if we go to Future Saga, they have a decent leader skill, right? Like the Future Saga lead here, but like, why would you not run 2 of this character, right? Why would you not run 2 of this character if you are running like a specific setup? If you're running like Festival of Battles, if you're going to do a Future Saga setup, like you could run 2 of Trunks and Vegeta, right? You're not running 2 Future Gohans. Like 1 Future Gohan floating on like a Future Saga setup, I definitely think is like decent at best, but I think that is at least worthy of a shout at B. Now, next up, we've got Fusion Zamasu. Fusion Zamasu, to me, I'm going to put in B, but he is being hard carried by the fact that he has that early like onset damage reduction of 90%. That's really about, am I tripping on that? I think it's, might be a little lower than that. 20, 40, 80, 80% damage reduction, excuse me. So if you were to run them like on a Mega Shenron team, which you and not do, my bad. If you cannot, you can't run the Omega Shenron team, so you're not going to get that additional support of the damage reduction here. Infinite Zamasu is nice, right? But that high damage reduction of 80% is going to be pretty helpful at the beginning of a fight. But again, you are extremely limited to short-term fights with this character, right? Like you're not taking them into a billion different other places. You're not going into the Festival of Battle. You're not going into a long red zone fight. But you can take them into like the Gohan fight, for example. But the problem is they're your type disadvantage and their defensive numbers are just not high enough. Like 80% damage reduction is fine, but it's the fact that like normals are hitting so hard now, right? Like this character was not designed with 11 million supers and 4 million normals in like the back pocket, right? Like that was not what they were thinking about that at that time. 2023 was completely different. But that isn't to say that they're bad by any means, but it is to say that they definitely have seen quite a change in the way things work. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I won't put them in C tier. There's only gonna be a few characters here on C tier, honestly, at this point. But again, like they're good, they're okay, like nothing too crazy. All right, next up, Tech Gogeta. Pretty good, right? Like can go on a fused fighter team, and their utility to me really is just that scouter, right? It's very easy to get access to a scouter, and that's really about it. They've got some good stuff going offensively and defensively. Their offensive output actually isn't great anymore. Their defensive output, I guess, is okay, but really to me, it just comes down to a scouter. Again, like, and just fitting on good teams, right? Like fused fighters, right? This is like an emergency fill-in, if you will, for the quality of character. Like they were released at the same time of like these Brolys, right? And the Super Saiyan trio and all that. And they ended up being like, pretty highly ranked when they came out. So they're probably around in that, I'd say in that field. So next up is Janemba. LR Janemba, pretty underrated, fits pretty well on like a bunch of different teams. If we look at Janemba here, will be the quickest way to do this. We go boom. Should just keep this categories thing open. I did. I'm like, just go here. Movie bosses. We go right here. Like when we're talking about movie bosses, our boy Janemba. What do we got? he fits on a bunch of fun teams, right? Like Uncontrollable Power, Transformation Boost, Carded Body and Mind. So this would be an example of a character that would fit on the new LR Gohan and Goten team, right? Like this character fits pretty well on there. Again, has big bad bosses and stuff like that, so he could link up with a character like Super Baby 1. I wonder if he would show up on the Link Partners here. No. Okay. But this guy, I think, is actually pretty good, right? Has damage reduction, has his dodge chance, guard, damage reduction, nullifying Ki Blast supers. You think about a fight like the new Gohan fight, the second phase of it, right? That is going, you're able to nullify that super. So will you potentially lose the normals? Maybe. But with like a dodge build properly and stuff like that, I think that he actually can be very, very impressive. So that's probably where I'd put him. Just a solid A tier LR at this point. Nothing that's going to like move the needle any like a crazy amount, but I do think he is pretty good. And the same thing could be said for God Goku and Hit. I think they are a solid floater where they are at right now. Very, very good. Like in that third slot on a Universe Survival Saga team. But the problem is right now, the Universe Survival Saga team is just not that good. So that's really as much as I have to say about that. But next up, Future Zamasu. I would put him... We'll go S. I think he's pretty good, all things considered. It was a GDC quality LR and was very good. Orb changing, easy to get access to Ki, easy to get access to additional supers, and all of that other fun stuff. I think that that is going to lead to a very valuable character. So Fusion Zamasu, I think S would probably be the most proper placement for this unit in specific. But again, I think he could be borderline A, but I think S is probably where I like him right now. But other than that, it's kind of tough to say. Like the characters he's going to link up with, like Rose and Zamasu is very nice. This is a character that has like a big bad bosses engine, Dismal Future, all of that fun stuff, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. He's going to fit very well with some of these better characters with big bad bosses, right? He has all the different things that he needs required to end up working on a very like efficient Future Saga team. To me, the problem is these two don't link, right? Like if these characters could link, this would be very nice, but they just don't because they would be sharing like a lot of links, right? Like that would be a really good setup for them. So it's unfortunate that they don't share any links, but that's just sort of how it goes sometimes. Next up, Trunks and Vegeta, I'd say is the same case here. They are extremely good in the Festival of Battles, and I value the Festival of Battles heavily. I think that that is like my favorite event to replay right now. And again, I know a lot of people don't share that sentiment, but that's at least just how I feel right now. If you want to argue that they are like A tier, I think that's fine. But I do think they have that slot 1 prowess, especially when you can stack them up. They're doing a lot of different things. They're helping the team stack. They're giving you access to characters in content that usually cannot go there due to their lack of ability to stack. And I think that that does have to at least factor into the way that you are placing the characters. So Trunks and Vegeta, I do think S is probably where I'd like them. If you want to move them to A, I think you could, but that is where I'm going to put them. And that is also going to be the case for Golden Frieza here. They made his damage reduction feel a lot better with the fact that it does not go every appearance now, it's every other appearance. So you are going to have that a lot more like flexibility with the damage reduction and an ability to link up with one of the better LRs in the game, being this Golden Frieza and Gogeta unit right here, fitting well on the Omega Shenron team. But again, a lot of different characters can fit well on this Omega Shenron team, which is still probably the best team in the game. You could make an argument that a Fused Fighter / Future Saga setup could be like just as good, but the way that the Omega Shenron team runs with the domain, with the support, there's just a lot of good things to be said about that team. And I really like it. It's just like when you are good on the Omega Shenron team, that just has like so much of a just overall buff to like where I view you as a unit at this point. And this guy, Golden Frieza here, definitely passes the test, right? I think that you could say that fairly at this point, that he is going to be able to work out pretty well in that spot. So again, very good setup here with Golden Frieza, and S tier I think is where he belongs. And that is also going to be the same thing here for our boy Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I think Super Saiyan 2 Gohan has very good like tools, right? His ability to stack. He has some pretty underrated defensive output. Offensively, he can end up hitting very hard. And again, that ability to stack is going to give him long form content viability, which again, the game could shift to, it may not shift to. You never know with these things. Right now, the meta is very weird. It's actually in terms of like the variety of content is in a healthier spot than it typically is. But again, that could also change at the drop of a hat, right? Like you never know when they're just all of a sudden just going to say like, you know what, we're going back to long form content. Like Festival of Battles is going to be the premier difficult event in the game. All of our missions are going to be based around that. Like, you never know when they're going to go back to that sort of stuff. So keep that in mind. This is probably where I would have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan right now. I think S is a fair placement, and that is where we're going to leave it at. And then we have Evolution Blue Vegeta. Very good abilities with damage reduction and his ability to have guard right off the bat. Damage reduction that gets, larger as he continues to take hits and whatnot. But again, it is a bit of a tricky spot for this unit. I just don't think he has enough juice for like the first initial hits of some of these harder hitting fights. But again, like in a proper setup, he can actually look pretty impressive. Again, guard, damage reduction, guaranteed crits and stuff like that. He is always going to be able to, put something out here, right? And that's what's so good about this character. He has ended up aging extremely well alongside his counterpart with AGL UI Goku, who we'll be talking about here in a moment. It's just a very the yearly anniversary EZAs for the last 2 years have been extremely well done. And even the year 5 LRs were very good when they came out, right? That's at least, you have to give them some love for that. They ended up being pretty good. Nowhere near as dominant as the year 6 LRs though, because we're talking about the year 6 LRs here, like well after a year into their heyday, if you will, right? Like they got their EZA, and now we are talking about them in October of 2025, and it's like, yeah, these units are still very good, right? Like AGL UI Goku is still extremely good, and he is going to be on like, I'm gonna put him in Z. I'm biased, so I'm gonna put him in Z. But if you want to move him down to S, I think that's fair. But right now, like what a lot of people are like view content in terms of like short form content and stuff like that, they definitely, there's got to be some stock in like what this character can do with the guaranteed dodging right away, with the ability to, revive, easy access to that revive, another turn of guaranteed dodging. That is what makes this character so special. And again, it's just having access to those tools and the way that you could just run this character off lead and put him in slot 1 for those 2 to 3 turn fights that we have right now in the game. You just have to give this character some love for that. Even if you want to float him off and put him in slot 3, so that way you only see him once during like a 4-turn fight, I think you can potentially do that and get away with it. And that's like, that could unironically work out very well. So UI Goku, we might move him down to S by the time this video is done, but for now, I'm going to put him in Z tier. I think that he actually is like that good for the short form content that this game, a lot of people like put into relevance because they prefer less long fights, right? So we'll put UI Goku in Z tier again because of that initial ability to dodge, but other than that, it's kind of tough to say. Offensively, he's just okay. And next up is going to be Broly. I actually really like this Broly. Super EZA works extremely good on the Omega Shenron team. High damage reduction, high attack stats, okay defense after that point. The damage reduction does wear off a little bit, but he also has access to an AoE, has access to multiple supers. I just really like the way this character is designed. Broly units end up working well alongside other Broly units, obviously, so that's probably where I'd put him right now. Next up, Majin Vegeta. I think... I'm thinking S or A. I'm going to put him in A. I think he's very good, but I just don't think they did enough with that Super EZA for him to really warrant a placement higher than that. Very good offense, but defensively, I just think he needed more. That's like his max defensive stat was just not that impressive. I guess it does kind of fit the character, like the idea of like the final explosion being like, a finishing move, and he's not really supposed to be tanking after that, but character immersion sometimes can be a fatal flaw when we're talking about the way that these units work, right? Like UI Goku, it's perfect, but in the case of this Vegeta, not so much. But I still think he's pretty good. If you're in the A tier on this list, that doesn't mean you're bad by any means. I just don't think you're the best of the best. Next up, Great Ape Vegeta. We are going to put you in S tier because I think that's where you probably belong. With Super Saiyan 4 Goku support, it's very hard to take this guy down. Has guard in that first slot, has that 70% damage reduction. All that fun stuff going for him. He is very good with the additional support coming in from Super Saiyan 4 Goku. You guys know how good Super Saiyan 4 Goku is at this point. Captain Ginu. These are going to be the first 2 units that are going in the C tier, and maybe the only ones on this list that are going in the C tier. Just very restricted to the teams that you want to be running them on. The Gammas just don't have nearly enough to be relevant right now, and the Ginyu Force is or Captain Ginyu is very restricted to one team, right? That is probably the best I could say about them. They are just not that good right now. Next up, you guys know Beast Gohan. I love talking about Beast Gohan. We'll put him in S because you can get most content right now. He's not losing his intro buff, so he ends up working out pretty well. But again, this new form content is hitting very hard, and I'd be lying if I said I see him tank everything, but he could still be okay in GDC content. He's all right. I think that's probably like, he's very good, but again, he's not going to be in that Z tier by any stretch of the imagination. Namek Goku up next. I'd say A is probably where he belongs. Again, you're going to need to stack with this character, and it's going to be a little bit tricky. The same thing here with Full Power Frieza. If you want to put him up in A, I think you definitely can. But again, I just want a little bit more, again, with like the stacking and stuff like that, the way you got to build this character, the way you got to like his linking partners right now. It's just a little bit messy for Full Power Frieza, but I do think they're okay. Next up, we got our boy Tech UI Goku. I think B is probably where he would go right now. His support is nice. His domain is nice. The counters are cool and all that. But offensively, he's just not bringing that much to the table. And defensively, if you don't dodge, you're losing to a normal attack. So that's really as much as I could say. But having that dodge is a very nice defensive ability that you can't just completely discredit. So you got to give him at least some love for that. But again, I think B is probably where they belong. And that is going to be the same case here for the Super Saiyan trio, as well as Jiren. Again, just not bad characters by any stretch of the imagination, just a bit power crept by how hard these bosses are hitting these days. And that's probably about it for them, right? Next up, we have the Brolys. Both of these two are going to be going in A. We're moving a little bit faster. I realize this video is pretty long. The Brolys together here look very, very nice, right? We know how these characters work at this point. The early onset stuff, really, I think Broly should go up here. This Broly should go up here because, again, if we're going to give Beast that sort of love, we need to get, like, Broly's basically the same thing. So we'll put this Broly up in S at this point, and then the Int Broly in A. I think Int Broly in short form content can look pretty damn good. But again, you are heavily relying on that domain. Super Saiyan Gohan. Yeah, I like him in A. Pretty good. But the standby leaves a little bit to be desired defensively at this point, so I can't give him too much love. Super Saiyan Gotenks or Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks would be the same thing. Think he's very good. Evolution Blue Vegeta, we'll put in the B tier. Just average, right? Can have some pretty impressive turns, but nothing too crazy. And the same thing could be said for Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, where I think he has very good offense, but his defense is okay, right? People like to, I think, overblow how good this character is defensively. It's Slot 2. He can hold it down for sure. I've always just found for just how cool this unit is, and you guys know at this point, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know my stance on this Gohan. I wanted him to be the best unit in the game just for how sick he looks, right? And it's just not the case here. I wanted him to be like Beast Gohan 2, but it just didn't come to be. Frieza and Goku, I'm going to put in A tier. I do like them a lot, especially in the Festival of Battles because they don't need to stack. And all you really need to do is use a Whis in the Daima phase, and that's really, you'll be okay running this character in there. Right. Pycon. We'll put you in S. I think that's about right. You're pretty good. Nothing too crazy. AGL Omega Shenron will put you in A. I think you're a good filler on the Omega Shenron team, the physical Omega Shenron team. At this point, you guys know how the physical Omega Shenron team works. The Year 7s, right? You guys know at this point, the Year 7s are just absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best EZAs they've ever done. They're aging completely fine, doing exactly what you need. The problem for them is their second appearance where that 77% damage reduction wears off. But again, in content like Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, you can sort of work around that. You can transform them if you got to float them off, so you can just transform them right away. You could potentially do that. Gogeta's got his access to a counter. The Blue Boys have their access to dodging, the Scouter. Like, these guys are just doing everything. I think they can dominate in basically every form of content, and that is why they are in the Z tier. And the same thing is going to be said right here about Super Saiyan 4 Goku, as well as Tech Vegito. You guys know how dominant Tech Vegito is at this point, right? We know what Tech Vegito's doing, right? Slot 2 has that 90% damage reduction right away after attacking. This guy right here has the ability to heal, has the giant form, has the support, links up with the Super Saiyan 4s. Like, we know what these characters are doing at this point, right? AGL Gogeta, unfortunately, I'm going to be putting an S. Just because I feel like they are very tough to run at times in the GDC content. Caitlyn Caulifla, same thing. They're going S. TN, the same thing, going S. Then basically every LR from GDC is going in the Z tier, right? Like, you guys know at this point how good these units are. For those of you who are going to scroll to the end, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to put you here. We're going to put you here. We're going to put you here. You are going to go here, right? This is my current top 5 in the game, just like this. This is my current top 5, so we'll make it look a little bit closer to a top 10. So it'll be something like this, and then Gohan will go like right here. So it looks a little bit closer to a top 10, so that way people aren't going crazy. But the GDC LRs, essentially, that is going to be the placement for them right here. It's going to look something like this. Then with Tech Broly here, I think S is going to be a fair placement for him, just due to the fact that he is just extremely like designed for long form content, right? And this unit as well, we'll put them at the bottom of Z, right? Like I think that's about right. So here we have it, right? The new and updated placement right now for some LRs. If you want to look at some honorable shouts here, like some characters on the bottom, Physical Bootanks is okay, right? Cellmax is all right. Physical Gogeta, AGL Broly, right? Like if you wanted to toss them on here, these characters would go something like this. Orange Piccolo will put you at B. I think that's fair. And then really like a lot of these characters just don't have much play right now. A lot of them are like kind of stuck to limited time buffs. So like these two with their limited time buffs were crazy. Baby with his limited time buffs were crazy. Kaioken Goku will go in here as well. I think that would be a solid B placement right now. And then on the bottom here, we are just waiting for a bunch of EZAs, right? Like Angel Vegeta, you could throw in here. I think he would probably be like C. I think he'd be like, okay. You could toss him in here. You could toss him in here, right? Like same idea. So there we have it. Right now, the current LR tier list. Again, if you guys disagree with any of these placements, let me know in the comment section below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to leave a like before you go. Subscribe if you're new, so that way you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys all for watching. Shout out to my members, and I'll see you all in the next one. Love you guys.